The question at the end of E3 is who won E3, and that's usually discussing Microsoft, Sony, or Nintendo. Now, all three had great press conferences, right? Microsoft had the Xbox One X, now the most powerful console out there, and you can just imagine what that'll mean for games that come to it down the road. Meanwhile, Sony had a lot of great first-party games that we saw in the past and a couple new announcements, and those games look great too. Ultimately, I think Nintendo had, the most fruitful presentation for their fans. We got games that we've been asking for years, like Metroid Prime 4. We've been given Metroid Samus Returns, or total shock. We got 2 Metroid games in 1 year. But I think most importantly, we got a release date for Super Mario Odyssey, and we've seen that this game is nuts. It is batshit crazy in a sense. It's what the series needs, and I think it's really gonna make Switch owners happy. I've played it, and frankly, I'm super excited that it's gonna come out October 27th. I think Nintendo had the most news for their fans, and those people walked away happier than most.
Like a bunch of other people, I actually agree that Nintendo did win of the 3 big players. I think Sony had a really strong showing with their first-party titles, although the conference was a little bit disjointed, and I think Microsoft was really good to go just rifle through 42 games and of course show off the Xbox One X. But Nintendo, with these surprises that were Metroid Prime 4 and Metroid Samus Returns, those are great things for any fan of the Nintendo library, and I also think that they gave us a bunch of reasons to have a Switch, even more so than just Zelda. I'm particularly excited for Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Never thought I would say that before, but that game looks weird and awesome, and as an XCOM fan, I cannot wait for it. So yeah, Nintendo for the show won for me.
I think for me, Ubisoft undoubtedly won E3. They had the most exciting games, surprising games, and I think a lot of the other games on Microsoft and Sony's stage were quite predictable. Out of the other two, Microsoft had more of them, but nothing really blew us away. There wasn't a big Scorpio kind of, Xbox One X exclusive, and Sony kind of played it straight. There wasn't even Last of Us 2. Nintendo came out and they did the impossible. They made everyone excited about Rabbids and Mario crossing over.
We've always wondered what could happen if our crazy rabbits were unleashed upon the world of Mario. Today, the dream is reality. Ladies and gentlemen,
they also had a lot of heartwarming moments, They had that moment where, the Rabbids guy was looking at Miyamoto talking about his game and just cried.
When I met Davide-san, I had just one condition for this project.
絶対ジャンプするゲームとかそういうプラットフォームゲームじゃなくて、マリオで今まで作ったことのないジャンルのゲームを作ってほしいとお願いしました。
I said, whatever you do, don't try to make a jump game or a Mario platformer. Try to make a Mario game that has never been made before.
In terms of the games and also kind of the feeling and the atmosphere, Ubisoft undoubtedly won E3 for me.
For me, the winner of this year's E3 would have to be Michel Ancel. I mean, Beyond Good and Evil came out well over 10 years ago, and the fans have been desperate for a sequel, and they always kind of said it's never happening or he's never getting around to it. For him to come out at the end of Ubisoft's press conference and to have it be the big surprise, and you saw how emotional and choked up he got, I thought that was incredible, and I think E3 this year was a definite win just for him.
And also, a special thanks to the fans of Beyond Good and Evil for sticking with us for so long.
It's about bloody time.
15 years.
If you want a really personal win for E3, it has to be Michel Ancel.
If I had to pick, I would say Nintendo. I think that the other conferences were missing a little something special. With Nintendo, they showed that brevity is really what works in a conference. It was quick and it didn't overstay its welcome. And we got things like Metroid, Pokemon on Switch, we got more info on Super Mario Odyssey, which looks phenomenal. And I was just hoping for a little bit more out of Sony, for example. I wanted to see The Last of Us 2. I wanted to see something that we really hadn't seen. Bethesda was the same way. So with Nintendo, there were a few surprises. There were more details on things we knew about. We got a little bit of everything.
Those are just a few of our thoughts on this year's E3 winners, but we'd like to hear yours. Feel free to add them below, and if you'd like to stay up to date on our E3 game impressions, give us a sub. Thanks for watching.